Hello, my friends, and welcome to Retro Dog Fight. I have to make sure I don't say Dog Fighter. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Dog Fighter. Retro Dog Fight, a podcast with old guys talking old Sims. We are in episode 4, and today we're going to talk about some of the earliest MicroProse flight sims: Hellcat Ace, Spitfire Ace, and MiG Alley Ace. So we were just discussing, because we talk about this. We talk about this in the intro. We talk about this in the thing, so we might as well get it out of the way now. None of us played these back in the day. Now, I didn't have a computer that could run this in 1982. Was it? But I think you guys did. So did these just fly under your radar at the time?
I mean, back in the day, so these are all kickstarted by Sid Meier.
Yes.
The last one's actually someone else. We'll get to that. Yee. But the Sid Meier sim I played in that day was Solo Flight.
Yes. Which
was a civilian flight sim. I don't know why I didn't know about these, because I was an aviation nut. These actually didn't hit the 64 till like 85, and by then I was saving money for an Amiga. So
that could have done it. Yeah, I never played them. I completely missed them somehow, which is kind of sad, because the first game we're going to talk about, Hellcat Ace, which came out in 1982, is pretty much, is it? I don't know if it's the first game, or is Solo Flight the first game you did, or is this the first game? I think.
Well, it's the first combat game. It started on the Atari before.
Yes.
I think this was the first of the MicroProse flight sims. Also, if you look at the manual, it's kind of hilarious. It's like one of those that was like typeset on a typewriter.
Oh my god!
With a hand drawn like maneuver chart.
I so want to talk about these quote unquote manuals. It's more like that joke from Airplane. Here's a pamphlet of Jewish sports legends. It's like, that's basically what these manuals are.
Right.
But basically, if you're unaware, folks, Hellcat Ace came out in 1982. It's basically, if not his first game, one of his first games for MicroProse. It basically takes place in the quote unquote Pacific Theater in World War II. There are 15 missions, and the goal is to win 5 of them and become an ace. The interesting thing is you start at difficulty level 0, but as you win, the game slowly ups the difficulty. So they get a little harder as you creep to your 5th and final quote-unquote ace mission. The missions include areas such as Pearl Harbor, Midway, and Guadalcanal, which is really funny because they all look the same.
Well, it's water, man. How does freaking water look?
I gotta tell you one thing. The first time I played Hellcat Ace, I thought the graphics are so primitive that I thought the other plane was a ship in the distance. I didn't know it was another plane. So I'm like, oh, that's a ship over there. Where's the plane? Oh, wait, that is the
I think we need to emphasize too, and this is other than starting off good with Swodel and that series, this is kind of the first out of the cockpit sims we're talking about here now, because our previous stuff, other than and starting with the LucasArts stuff, were the text-based things. These are actual out of the cockpit, so that's kind of cool. Now you can stretch your imagination a little farther. But yeah, the on one hand, knowing the not sophistication of the machines back then, I'm pretty impressed with their little tech demo of having a horizon, an actual horizon that tilts and pans. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty neat. Even Skyfox didn't do that. That's which was a more arcadey game that EA put out around this time. But right. But everything, all 3 of these games, everything is built around that horizon. I mean,
and not just the horizon, but the brilliant mechanic of that sun or moon, depending on which sim you're playing, which is the only other thing you see, so that you can orient. It's like, okay, I am turning. I've gotten back to this direction.
What's awesome though is one thing I noticed playing the night missions in Spitfire Ace is the moon does not rotate. So you can be upside down, and that crescent moon is still just facing to the right. So it's like that was a little rough. But yeah, they're rough. I mean,
okay, so I consulted
too much. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I consulted my notes, and Hellcat Ace was 1982 when it came out on the Atari 400 800. So it was before the 64 even existed. Which is probably how I might have missed it. But this was Sid's first game for MicroProse. He had done a couple of games before, but this was the first one that he did with Bill Staley.
Nice.
Wild Bill. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. I have. Go ahead.
Just again, I would. Yeah, and he had a good. You can tell the game was built around. Look at this. You really get a feel for if you program these machines back in the day, and you were close to the development. You really get a feel of, I made something cool, so I'm going to make a game out of it. Yeah, and frankly, it's the Horizon. Sid figured out a fast, character-based, Horizon routine, and he built a game around it. Yeah. And he built 3 games around it. Yeah.
And
so I gotta say, when I dove into the manual on this, this is a really advanced game. Do you realize this is probably the first game to support a hot ass system?
No shit.
Yeah, because if you have the 2 joystick ports, right?
Yeah,
and
you can use one joystick for throttle, and one joystick for control.
That's why my power was always at 10, and no matter what keys I pressed, except for the one that bailed me out,
it's the comma and number keys. It's the comma and the period. It's the comma and the period.
I mean, I know. I tried the elite keys of A and Z and the number keys.
Comma and period. I found it by accident.
So it was like, screw it. I just Leroy Jenkins and keep it up at 10. There doesn't seem to be any. I mean, you're not going to be playing a lot of overshoot games or anything. Another thing that this game reminds me of, talking about first-person cockpits, is that, Brian, you should be familiar with the old Atari Star Raiders.
Oh, absolutely. I played that on the 2600. Yes.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. So and that's kind of what that's what I kept flashing back to, is the old Atari 400.
Yes.
Star Raiders, which was, again, that first person, and that's what I really got the feeling with this thing. This was almost like an airplane Star Raiders, except Star Raiders was a better game because it had the campaign as opposed to just missions.
It's kind of a campaign, sort of, but not really, but sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Did anybody make Ace? Did anybody make Ace?
I made Ace.
I did.
I shared my.
I saw that.
I shared my Ace image.
I got it.
Chat.
I got Ace and Spitfire Ace. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get when you have a victory of your mission, you get a song, and Spitfire.
Yeah, God Save the Queen, man.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the song on Hellcat.
We love our Queen. Yeah,
but when you get Ace, you get the full long version of the song. As well as the congratulation message.
That's what trips me out about how easy to please back then. Did either of you play Summer Games?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes.
God, me and my buddies would rock out to the Japanese theme. Oh. We play like the da 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 da.
Those were so fun. That was the big reward back then, people. It was not an Unreal 5, cutscene, ray traced. It was like 12 bars of a national anthem, and we were psyched. Yeah, I mean, even games later like Starfleet 2, my favorite, it does the same thing when you finish it. It gives you that blue screen, congratulations, and it plays, I forget the name of the song, but it's like for 2-3 minutes it plays the song.
Over PC speaker, which is
delightful. I gotta say though, I was impressed. I spent the most time with Hellcat Ace. I figured we should start there. I actually really enjoyed this. It felt really good. The flight felt really good. at the higher difficulty levels, the quote unquote AI actually was a decent challenge, I thought. And I thought the inclusion of a rear view mirror really helped with situational awareness.
That was a cute little touch.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. Because I just want to tell people out there, Hellcat Ace contains 100% no Hellcat. Right. It is like those fake juices you see at Walmart, like cranberry cocktail. It is a Hellcat cocktail, contains less, because you just get numbers on the screen, you get the horizon, you get the crossbars. In Spitfire Ace, they use the character graphics to create a nice little rounded cockpit this time. And isn't that where the rear view mirror first appeared? I don't remember seeing it in Hellcat.
Oh, it was in Hellcat.
I think
it's in Hellcat.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just so disgusted with Hellcat that it's just like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Really? Wait, why were you disgusted?
It's just, I mean, it was, like I said, contains 100% no Hellcat.
That's true.
It is. Any of these is by name only, because look, don't even look for like a realistic roll rate or anything. No. There's no compare. If you compare the two, like Hellcat and Spitfire, you're like, okay, now I'm flying the Spitfire. Well, you're flying the Spitfire because you've got the rounded cockpit. That's it.
That's it.
You don't know that you've got machine guns and cannons versus just machine guns. It is what it is.
Yeah. But I'll say also in the 100% no Hellcat department, most of the missions are actually like battles that the Hellcat didn't fly in.
Right?
Oh, really?
They're like missions that were flown by Wildcats.
Oh my god!
Yamato,
people,
Yamato was shot down in a P-38.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. People don't seem to get that the Wildcat carried all the battles that we tend to talk about, Coral Sea and Midway. Yep. And the Hellcat didn't show up until 43, and it was even in Guadalcanal, it was still Wildcats and Dauntlesses.
I will throw a defense out for this game, though. I mean, given that it was 1982, given that like first-person cockpit flight sims of the time were like Red Baron on the Atari 2600,
right?
This at least, like, if you dive, you pick up speed.
Yeah,
true. If you pull up, you can stall.
Well,
it acts like how graphics when you hit the planes.
And I want to add to that. It
acts like Go ahead.
I want to add to that. The one mission I remember that they mentioned the type of aircraft you fly, and you're trying to get away from some Zeros, and you're flying a Devastator. And they actually made the Devastator feel different than the other planes that you flew, because it would stall a lot more quickly. It moved a lot slower. So they did a little bit. They did not a lot, but they did a little bit. And I kind of have to give them credit for that. I thought that was interesting. But that was the only mission I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, as I say, the other thing I'll give them credit for is the shooting. You actually have to do deflection shots.
They did.
And I don't think we had seen that at that point.
No, it was basically just hit scan toward the middle of the screen. And I wanted to mention that they made some effort in making the little bullet sprite graphics fall away toward the bottom.
Yeah, that was neat.
So that really encouraged the whole lead and gravity. So there was let's give them a thumbs. Let's give Sid and company a thumbs up there.
Yeah,
because it wasn't just pew straight toward the crosshair.
Yeah, and also, like I said earlier, I really appreciate how if you win a mission, it might level up the difficulty as you reach short ace. I thought that was they didn't have to do that. I thought that was a neat little thing, and you can start any mission from level 0 and work your way up that way. But I thought that was neat. If you started at level 0, it would work your way. It would get more and more difficult as you went. And I appreciate that it got more. It did legitimately feel like it got more difficult as the difficulty levels went up.
The AI got the little AI sprite got a little squirrelier.
Yeah. It's hard. It was hard to hit and everything. Yeah.
And there was stuff like, if you actually get that awesome detailed angle view of the side of the plane.
That was, that was actually the one where I could actually say that kind of looks like an airplane. The blob at the front is the fuselage, and it had a tail. But the rest of the time, though, man, it was a mess of sprites, and there was, at least for the 64 version, there was so much they could have done to have overlaid high resolution sprites over, single color high resolution sprites over the top of each other, which was the way back then to present a high definition colorful sprite. But man, they just shoved an Atari 2600 looking blob up there and called it a day.
So I'm guessing you guys played the 64 versions.
Yeah, I played the 64.
Yeah, I played the DOS version, which was lovely cyan. CGA. Everything.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So the sun/moon was this lovely cyan purple thing. It's like it was, and then the cockpit was mostly that weird kind of off-white that CGA.
Yeah,
it wasn't perfect white. It was kind of an off cream white thing.
CGA, man, who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know, but that's what we had for a while,
I avoided that completely.
I went from 16 colors to full on 4096, my friend. I skipped EGA, I skipped all that. I went from 64 to Amiga, so it was like I'm looking at all these. And what sucked is that games ported to the Amiga were from IBM. They usually didn't up the color, so it was like they only did like a 16 color or EGA even on the Amiga. So, but CGA was just, my God,
it's rough. It's rough. It's. I just laughed every time I saw the purple sun/moon.
Right,
I just laughed.
Black hole sun, right, coming across.
I gotta say though. Good.
Oh, I was going to say, along with the victory song that you get if you win, I just love the simplicity of the early games, though, because like if the bad guy gets away, I lost a couple on purpose. Because seriously, with all these years of flying, there was no way, even at the higher levels, that I wasn't going to win most of these. But like, it's like, enemy got away, your base is destroyed, you lose.
Right. It's like, Jesus Christ. What was it carrying Little Man or something? It's like one plane just like wrecked your world. I like impacting into the ground is like, you just got that straight up, you hit the ground, you lose. It's like, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh man. And I love how, but I think one of my favorite things is like the scenario called Midway. One of the biggest aerial battles in World War II. It's like you and one plane. I mean, I know they couldn't do much more than that, but it's like, come on. This is not Midway. Come on.
We stretched our imagination.
I know. I just thought that was funny.
We were like 10, 12, 14 years old. So we were all like talking to our imaginary wingmates or a buddy sitting in the rooms with us. And it's like, but one plane at a time. I mean, folks, again, we're not at the point where you're thinking about BFM, right? You are basically using your joystick to try to move a sprite, a squirrely sprite close to where your bullets are going. So, there's no low or high speed yo-yos here, no Immelmans. It is an exercise of, we're not, other than, again, with our first episode where we started off with some of the best, we're not quite there yet, but maybe next episode we'll actually start thinking about actual flight maneuver.
Oh, maybe. Well, and it's interesting too.
Stay tuned.
I mean, we're just watching the evolution of computer game development here, because in our next episode we're going to talk about like F-15 Strike Eagle. That's on the same computer, so you could do a more sophisticated game, but this was like they're building the craft at this point. They're figuring.
They are.
That's exactly.
You see that. I mean, if we can start talking a little Spitfire Ace now. It's in a little bit later on in development, that would have been an expansion pack, because it's the same freaking game, except you've got a cockpit.
Well,
right.
You've got like
And a little less ammo.
Not on DOS.
Don't you have a little less ammo?
Not on DOS.
Not on DOS. No?
You do not have a cockpit on DOS. It's this.
Oh,
the
wow.
only difference, the big difference between Spitfire Ace. That's why I didn't play as much Spitfire Ace. The only difference is that it's green instead of blue for the ground.
Right.
That's the only difference.
And even at night, even at night, there are quotey fingers night missions in Spitfire Ace. The background color is black now, but the horizon routines still render that ground as green. So
Yeah. But I did want to circle back to one thing. One of the reasons I wanted to do this whole podcast is because for years, flight simulators really did drive game development and computer development as a whole. So I thought it would be fascinating to watch computer game development through the lens of flight sims, because it really is just an amazing microcosm of how things advance through the years. So that's another reason I wanted to do this show.
It is. So, like, if you allow me to wax esoteric here,
absolutely,
which we never do on this software. Let's kind of look at it. Let's talk about that to begin with. We're talking about this Neat Horizon routine, and again, folks, you may just want to go take a look at a YouTube or fire this up on an emulator. The Neat Horizon routine right now, nobody is using high definition graphics on. I'm just going to talk about the Commodore here, and probably applies to the Atari too, because back then all games were programmed in assembler, et cetera, but very few times were the high definition modes of the 64 used that early. That's the 320 by 200. It was all character graphics. People might think of it as
high definition.
Right. It was all character graphics. So 40 by 25, but like the Nintendo, which came later, you could reprogram your entire character set to make it look different. And that's basically what you're getting on these first two games. You're getting two games that are in 40 by 25 character mode, but they've redefined the character set so they can draw, a little high res of shapes. And that's how you have a 40 by 25 horizon going around the screen there, but they were able to redefine the character set so it was kind of smooth when you banked. Right. And then on top of that, the other easy to use low hanging fruit for programmers back then was sprites, which are just little movable objects. I'm trying to remember the 64 sprites. I think they were 20. They were 3 bits or 3 bytes wide. So 24 by 21, I think. So you had a 24 by 21 grid, single color, and then it was a 12 by 21 grid if you had multiple colors, which you could use 2 at a time. So that was the low hanging fruit, character mode, and overlaying sprites on the screen. And then you could see, like Brian said, "Ooh, we're getting this figured out." And a game we really haven't touched on yet, one of the 3 is Mig Alley, where they got the routines down fast enough so that they could do a split screen with 2 Horizon routines running at once. And the numbers, instead of just the bald face numbers for height and et cetera, we have nifty little high definition.
And that was only a year later. That was 83. Yeah. We'll get to Mig Alley Ace, friends, but that was 83. My God.
They were figuring it out. It was still, character graphics and overlaid with sprites, but we're getting a little slick with this. So I kind of find that if you are into the archaeology of watching, programmers get their feet under them on a brand new system or on a brand new console. Yeah, here's an example right there on those 3 games. And so Esoterica over.
I just can't imagine what it would have been like to make a game for 8 different systems or whatever. Like you're making a game for the Commodore, the Atari, the the Spectrum, but yada yada yada. It's like
you're lucky. Yeah, you're lucky back then. You had the 6502, which was what most. But you're right.
Yeah, the Atari and the Commodore shared the same processor.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if you were doing anything that wasn't machine code, it was completely different routines because their basic languages were different. And even if you were doing machine code, like the way all of that cool stuff that Chase was talking about with how graphics were done on the C64, it was a completely different system.
Yep.
On the Atari, they had big chunky sprites. They didn't have the level of detail, but they had multicolor sprites. So like if you were going to take full advantage of the computers, you did it different. So most ports were actually done by different people. You would have somebody develop the original, then they would share the code, and somebody who was a C64 whiz or an Atari whiz, or an Amstrad whiz for
BBC whiz,
the BBC Micro.
Yeah,
we're Americans. We forget there are other countries.
I know,
as you all know now. But anyway, yeah. I mean, all of those. So the day and some of those. UK computers used Z80 chips, which was the same as the Trash 80 used, and so that was completely different machine code. So yeah, you basically like rewrote the game. You might share some algorithms and the overall design, but a lot of it was just like total recoding for each computer, which is why not every game got ported to every machine.
Yeah, because you think of like, I mean, a lot of games were, especially as machines took off, but you like getting the early Ultimas from over on the Apple. It was a 6502 or 6502 based computer, just like the Atari and the Commodore, but you didn't see those. You didn't see them. It was like, I think it was Exodus was the first one that appeared on the 64. Again, people can probably wiki that up. I'm doing this all from memory, but yeah, it wasn't until much later into dev cycles, mid 80s, that games were being were ported on the regular, right?
Yeah, it's just fascinating to me to like, because you look at the entries for these old on Moby games or whatever. You look for the entries on these old games. It's like 8 computers are listed. Like, oh, hot damn,
right?
Yeah,
and I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to say, talking about Spitfire Ace. Like it's so much the same game. I think it
feels exactly the same.
Historical precedent is that it was kind of setting the stage for like Madden, re-releasing the same game over and over again with minor changes.
It looks like they both came out. It looks like they both came out the same year, though. It looks like they both came out in '82.
And both in '83 on the 64. The Spitfire Ace, the colors are changed. It's a moon instead of a sun. The cockpit overlay actually makes it feel a lot nicer.
It does
on the 64 version. All it is a really chunky. It actually shaped right for a Spitfire canopy.
Yeah.
The windscreen. But yeah, it makes it feel a lot better.
Yeah, you guys got like an actual cockpity looking thing. I didn't get that on the PC at all. It's
we also got these nifty like little circly things.
Yeah.
Hellcat Ace didn't have the nifty little circly things down by the bottom of the screen. So it was immersion, right? It just absolutely went off the charts.
I'm
playing all you peons flying your Hellcat Ace and
I still think it's fun how we're playing different versions so we can talk about that, but I'm a little jealous because it's like, God damn, this looks so much better than the DOS version I played.
Don't play DOS games until, God damn it, what would you say?
Whenever VGA happened.
87, 88, 86? Maybe 86. I don't remember.
Yeah. Stick with the 8-bits if you can, because most of the time they're going to look, you've got that 4.77 megahertz over there on the XT whoopee when you have,
So it's no wonder colors. It's no wonder you guys were more interested in Spitfire Ace than me, because I played a little Spitfire, so I'm like, this is the exact same game with like the missions are almost exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. What am I doing here? I'm wasting my. This is still Hellcat Ace. But you guys have and it even looks better on the Atari too. Like I'm looking at the Atari screenshots, and it looks better than the goddamn DOS version.
This case it has the government mandated 10% Spitfire in it. So as opposed to just being Hellcat cocktail.
The Atari version might actually be the best looking. I'm looking at the screenshots on Moby Games.
Let me take a look at that.
It might be the best looking of the three, in my opinion.
I think was that its native?
I think it might have been. Yeah, I think it was.
They were. Yeah, these were all originally Atari. And the 64. When you get to MIG Alley, the 64 actually is better than the Atari because I think had another year of development, so it's got more of an instrument panel thing going on.
Let's take a look at that. It's a little. Spitfire Ace doesn't have the round. It doesn't have the rounded.
It doesn't. Oh, no, I see what you're talking about. I see. Folks, if you're not sure what we're talking about, go to the Moby. There'll be a link to Moby Games in the show notes. And you could look at the different screenshots for the different platforms. We always link to Moby Games, by the way. And if you click between Atari 8-bit and Commodore 64, you can really see, the difference between the two. No wonder
64 wins.
No wonder you guys are more okay. Because I played Spitfire Ace. I'm like, I've done this already. I didn't play much Spitfire Ace because I played so much Hellcat Ace. I'm like, all right. No wonder you guys played more Spitfire Ace. And even though it's the same game, it's still a good game. Like, I still enjoyed my little bit of time with Spitfire. It's just like, this feels like this would have been an expansion back, like if it was today, or a DLC or something. This would have been a $4 mission pack, or something. That's all it is more missions.
And it has fewer missions than Hellcat Ace.
It does. Yeah, you're right.
It does. Yeah. So you got
CGW. Platform was CGW even around that early? It says.
Oh God,
it gave it a 20%.
Oh shit!
Suck it.
Excuse my language.
Was Johnny running that magazine back then?
That was probably he was there. He was not the editor yet.
Okay, so who suck it? Whoever was the editor.
Those guys were so hardcore that if the technology and programming wasn't there yet, they would still be annoyed that the game couldn't do it.
Man.
I was there for about 5 years in the 90s, and I've heard the stories of the early days.
Hold on, I just want to check. Just because I feel kind of
bad.
I'm gonna put in my first game that I bought. I'm gonna see what they gave it for the Commodore. Let's see if they had the review for it. If they did,
I feel a little bad because
they don't. Dang it! It was Jumpman.
This deserves more than 20%. I mean, it's not 100, or I'd say I give it 60 or 70 at least. It's not.
The bizarre thing is, I don't even know where they're getting that though, because CGW didn't add ratings.
Interesting.
That's right.
That's
right.
Wherever they're pulling that, it's
that
not
20% from.
Well, if you click on it,
screw
it
Moby
says
Games in.
If you click on it, it says score 1 of 5. Maybe they have to put a score in. Like maybe
we did not add star. I was there.
I remember that
debate about star ratings, and because PC Gamer kind of forced their hand, and they had to add ratings, and there were huge debates because PC Gamer had percentages. So basically, games went between 70 and 90, and no, we want to use we had a full star rating system where it was 1 to 5, and 5 was almost unattainable, the perfect game. We had half stars.
I'm sorry.
Based on movie rankings.
I think those kind of things kind of killed everything. I don't think you needed numbers. I think read the article.
Attention spans were already going down.
Demanded it.
Yeah.
And the publishers demanded it too, because the publishers wanted to be able to say,
"Hey, 5 stars on CGW."
Yeah.
And then CGW tried to do it like movies. So a good game, if a game is perfectly serviceable, fun, if you like this kind of game, you're going to like it. It would have been a 3-star.
3-star, right? Because right in the middle.
Sure. But then the Metacritics of the world came around, and a 3-star became a 60, which is a failing grade. 50. So anyway, it was. There were so many debates. You can probably still find them on a Usenet archive somewhere.
God.
Oh man!
So who knows where Moby Games is pulling itself out of its ass?
But that's coming out of somebody's butt. That wasn't a rating.
Okay.
So we have these first 2 games. which were by Sid, and we're kind of pushing the technology, especially that cockpit on the Spitfire. But then we moved to MiG Alley Ace, which
Andy fucking Hollis, my friends.
Freaking Andy Hollis, right? If you're listening to this, you understand why we say that with reverence.
We love you, Andy. I'm still mad about what happened after Longbow 2. I'll never not be mad about that. Yeah. We love you, Andy.
Yeah. Let's not even. So
we will get there eventually.
Yeah, no.
Brian had to get that out.
Which was the what was I have it in my notes. In 1996, when I was at CGW, and trying to get as many flight sims as I could into the top 150 best and 50 worst games of all time article. MiG Alley Ace was the 129th best computer game ever released.
Interesting. Interesting.
It is like mind-bogglingly more advanced.
Oh, well, hello there.
It's
hello there, MiG Alley Ace Trivia Awards, Computer Gaming World, November 1996, 15th anniversary, 129 and the 150.
Oh, looky.
Yeah. So, holy crap. I mean, this thing.
What a jump. What a jump. My God.
If I'd had more time, I think Chase and I live in the same geographic region. We should have gotten together and set up my D64 and played this multiplayer in person. Because this was a realistic for the day flight sim with split screen air combat.
Right.
I have to be honest.
Decent frame rate on a computer. Okay, the Commodore 64 6502 processor was really advanced for its day. It ran at 1 megahertz, not giga, 1 megahertz. It's probably 30,000 times slower when you take out other things like instruction, co-execution stuff that's a modern processor. It's like 30,000 times slower than a modern processor.
I'm actually going to pull an actually on you here, Denny.
Okay, yeah.
The 6502, again, incredible processor. On the 64, it was synced to either the NTSC video signal, because again, it was tied in with the VIC-2 chip to basically do reads on one cycle, and the VIC would do reads on the other cycle. It was 0.77 megahertz.
That's PAL, right. I forgot about that.
The PAL was synced higher because it was like 0.99 or so. Again, from memory, could be wrong, but I remember saying, "Oh yeah, it is less than a megahertz."
You are correct. So it did have. I mean, but you had that video coprocessor, the VIC.
Yeah, you had the VIC too.
Like on an Apple, you had that full 1 megahertz on your 6502, but you also had to move every pixel. You didn't have that cool video.
Yep. You had to do all the blitz using the CPU. Whereas, they did some tricks where memory was accessed by the CPU half the time on the 24 and by the VIC the other half the time. But Denny's overall point, being with Mr. Pedantic sitting in this chair, is absolutely true. Your smartwatch is hundreds of thousands of times more powerful than this chip, which was designed actually to be more like a calculator chip, an early 70s calculator chip.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if we're going to be pedantic, Chase, it's not even a 6502. It's a 6510.
It's a 6510 because it has the CIA. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. I stand pedantic.
And amusingly, though, I just did a quick Chat GPT calculation. I apologize for the environment, and the number I pulled out of my butt.
You just killed like a tenth of the Amazon.
How many trees did you kill, Dave?
But the number I pulled out of my butt was actually very close. It's 10,000 times faster than a 6510, a Core i9. So
wow.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So anyway, the fact that they pulled off a smooth frame rate,
split screen, my God,
split screen, 2 players flying at the same time, calculating ballistics and against
in
sprites.
1983,
and keeping track of. Yeah, I'm really interested in just the memory structure they used to keep track of the airplanes. There's got to be some hack in there, because the 64 simply didn't have the memory to just say, okay, set up an array 3D space XYZ. You know, it's just, I wonder how they did that, but yeah, and they got more than one plane in there, and yeah.
You could fly with, you had AI wingmen.
Yeah.
And,
that was amazing.
Targets in this one. That's the other thing is the Battle of Britain was 1 versus 1 in Spitfire Ace, whereas here you could have 3 on. Maybe if it's just 1 on. Yeah, no, you could do 3 on 3. I think.
I believe so.
We're setting up a different combination. I think there is cheating going on though, because I did set up a flight where I set it up as 2-player. And then just didn't have anyone playing the second player. And so the MiG is just flying straight line, but I'm trying to come up on it in my Saber, and I'm seeing this MiG like turning and banging.
Yeah, hacks.
Yep, but it's not actually doing. So
I wonder if that's why I honestly got disoriented a bit while playing this game because of the dual cockpit thing. I wonder if that's one of the reasons, because I'm trying to, keep an eye on the top cockpit, and then I see the bottom cockpit. And I don't get motion sick very easily. I got a little motion sick.
Yeah.
With the bottom,
which is kind of awesome.
I mean,
which is kind of awesome. A little disorientation there. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's one of the reasons I didn't play this very much is because that lower cockpit kind of threw me off a bit. It made me a little disoriented, and I had to stop playing after a little while. I could only play it in like very short bursts, which is weird because games usually don't do that for me. Like, I'm fine with VR, the only time I love that head rush in VR. Like when you crank the plane over and you take a quick look to the side.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
That doesn't give me any problems. No motion sickness, nothing. In VR, I'm great. But with this, for some reason, that lower cockpit, even when it was an AI pilot doing its thing, I was like, my eyes are trying to. Yeah, my eyes. I can't. So I didn't play I feel bad. I didn't play this one a lot because but from a technical perspective, was there another game that did split screen like this in 1983 for like the home computer? Maybe an arcade did this. I don't know.
That was another trick going back to Esoterica mode. Another trick that they had relearned on the 64 and on the Atari is that, kind of like the old Atari 2600, you kept track of how many lines you drew down the screen, right?
Oh,
so 100. Like there is an internal counter. Let's just call it like 100. There's 192 lines going down the screen, right? And you can set up something called a raster interrupt, so that like on line 100 or whatever, you suddenly switch the video chip from looking at one space in memory to a completely different space. So like the first 80 or 90 lines, you have the chip looking at one part of memory, then you quickly flip it over and you have it looking over at another part. And that's exactly what they did here. And that became that raster interrupt and split screen became very common from there on out. So it's like you had games like later on, like Racing Destruction Set. I don't know if you played that, Denny.
Yeah.
But just about all of your split screen games use that technique. And this was a very early use of it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know how early they'd gotten.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the technique of doing that split screen in 83.
Yeah.
Like
in 83, right?
Like, my God.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just split screen. This one, I had to look at the manual to realize that those little spinning instruments actually were displaying things, because there's not enough detail to have any kind of like labels on them. But
it's just showing the Atari one on here. I want to get back to the 64 one because it had the cool little little radar scope.
Yeah.
On it.
Oh, it's got screenshots.
So there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
So it's not only giving you like your airspeed and your climb rate. I think it probably had the first hardcore flight sim feature, like for the Grognards. It has a freaking EGT, exhaust gas temperature.
And you know what?
Right.
We need to bring up his name again. That's Andy, man. That is Andy.
Yeah.
This is where he started.
This is the beginning of Jane's Combat Simulations hardcore group right here.
Right.
Because if your plane gets hit, then you've got to watch your EGT gauge because you can't run full throttle or your engine's going to explode.
Which again, 1983. My God.
Yeah. And then when you're in combat, the graphics, it's primitive as heck compared to what we're used to now. But like the profile sprite has a shape like a MiG. Like there's the canopy, there's the swept tail. Like it's like compared to the T that you're fighting in Hellcat.
Right.
This was like just an amazing visual advancement along with the gameplay.
Yeah. And you know what? I would have not played this back then. It would have just pissed me off. Yeah, it would have just pissed me off.
Why? Why would it have
because I was more of an eye candy arcade kind of guy. Or kind of more like I played no RPGs at all. I played a few strategy and war games, but I was mostly a Twitch gamer.
Yeah.
Until I played Elite, which was like, oh my God.
It was Starflight. It was Starflight for me. That's the one that brought me.
God, that was another game I wish I had picked on because I would have dug that so much back. There were so many games I missed out on. But my key back then was I was a poor kid growing up in North Idaho. So like where I got games was from magazines that were selling games for like $5 a pop. Wholesale. I picked up Elite for $5, right?
Oh, nice.
There were so many games that looking back, I was like, God, Starflight would have been awesome. And even when I moved into Amiga, I just had a blindness for just that genre until I played the first Star Control. And then my maturation as a gamer. Going from these arcadey things to
But friends, if you're on the younger side and you don't fully understand how quickly personal computing moved in the 80s and 90s, this is an early example. Like, because the first two games we talked about came out in 82. This is 83, and it is almost like a technological leap over the previous two games in many ways.
Right.
And it's just so impressive in that regard.
Also, I wasn't able to find out if this was the first, but it has a co-op mode. It's not just split screen combat. You can fly co-op against the AI.
What?
And
is that in the manual? And I missed it. I mean, it was a short manual.
Well, it's on. Did you play it on the PC?
No, there is no PC version. I played it, the Commodore version on C64 forever.
Yeah, it's right there in the main menu. There's one of the choices is a co-op.
I missed that. That's amazing. That's amazing.
As someone who works on UX, Brian, I'm once again disappointed that people don't even read the text you put on the screen. But I mean, a freaking co-op flight sim on a C64.
On a 64.
That's
you just sitting there. I mean, that's a year before Ghostbusters, man. Sitting there with those nasty Atari joysticks that left divots in your hands because that's what we had back then. I have always admired Andy Hollis. I was lucky enough in my journalism days to get to know him pretty well. He already was huge in my estimation, but this has kind of elevated him to the demigod level. Like looking at what he did early
I know,
on.
right?
Because I was more familiar with his later work. Andy's such a cool guy. When Jane's imploded, like a lot of people, when Flight Sims died, went into developing other kinds of games. Andy was there early enough at MicroProse, and then his time at EA and stuff. Like he did well enough. Andy was a car buff. When Andy stopped making flight sims, Andy started like racing for fun. Like he bought cool cars. That's what he's been doing since.
Yeah, he got into rally.
Yeah.
He got into
real life rally or rally video games?
Yeah, real life rally.
Good for him.
He basically said, "Screw it, I'm going to go drive race cars.
You know what?
I'm going to go do what I love." And
Good for him.
I appreciate that so much.
I wonder if the rally community is less toxic than the computer flight sim community.
Possibly a few %.
Oh, Jesus. I'm still angry.
But I bet the rally gaming community is probably just as bad.
I don't know, man. It's hard to tell anymore.
Andy Hollis shatters track record at Tire Rack SCCA time.
Wow.
Oh, this is a story from 2024.
Wow, he's still doing it. Good on him. Good on him. You know, that's great. I mean, he has left behind such a legacy, and it really does start here, doesn't it? With this game. And friends, if you're not familiar with Andy Hollis, just go to Wikipedia, Moby Games, and look at his, like, he has touched so many of the amazing games we're going to be talking about in the future. It's just a legacy that very few other people have in the flight sim community. I mean, who else? Gilman Louie, maybe. Yeah.
This was his first game. I just looked him up. And my God, what a string of hits! Did you ever play Lightspeed or Hyperspeed, Brian? As a space game guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
those two.
He was a designer and programmer on those. Those are the only ones I haven't played on here. But he starts with McGalley Ace, does a million awesome flight sims, and the last thing on his credit before he went off to race is executive producer of Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, which to me is the best civilization game ever.
Right? That was the best Sid, right?
Yeah, absolutely, still is to this day, in my opinion. God, that was his last credit, was Alpha Centauri?
Yep. And he's been having fun ever since. That was 26 years ago.
What a ride. Good on him. My God.
Beginning in 2017, Hollis served as crew chief for American Honda's associate race team in 24-hour events. Yeah, he went full on. He said, screw it. And
you know what?
He said, I had enough of this, enough of this shit from a bunch of entitled little.
I'm still angry about what happened, but I'm so glad he found a thing.
Followed the dream.
I'm so happy sounds like he's doing what he loves. And so that makes me very happy for him, because I loved so many of his games. I'm glad you got to know him, Denny.
Him and Sid together were just like,
unstoppable.
You get F-19.
Oh, I can't wait for us to get to F-19. Oh my God, I'm so excited. But F-19, I think he and Sid really got me into this whole thing. I could really credit the two of them for really getting me into this whole thing.
Yeah. And while we're on Andy worship mode, something I just learned today about him. He was an like everything in here is designer, programmer, producer. He was an artist on Sid Meier's Pirates.
Well, of course he was.
Oh my God!
It's just not fair for the rest of us.
I know.
Some people get all the talent, and you know what? Good for him. I mean, he made a great go of it in video gaming, and then video gaming kind of went to crap for a while. Oh God! But getting back to McGalley Ace, again, I did not play a lot of it, but what I did play, I was just so impressed at what a leap this was over the two games that came out the last year. These days, you play a game from 2014 or 2015, it doesn't look that much different than a game from today.
Doesn't.
I mean, sure, 4K. Ooh, I don't understand 4K. I've watched 4K things. It doesn't really, but you play a Call of Duty game from 2015. It looks the same as a Call of Duty game from today. There's not that much of a difference, really. But 82 to 83, you go from Hellcat Ace to this, and you're like, my God, just such a leap in 1 year. Computers moved so much more quickly back then. My God, within a decade, the Commodore 64 would be gone. Within a decade, Amiga would be mostly gone. Atari would be a memory. Just within a decade.
Yeah. And now we're looking at, you can look at refer back to the old man mode. It's like exactly what you're talking about in like a time span of 5 years.
Oh my God.
You went from things like, these totally primitive text-based, just garbage games, as far as I'm concerned, to, we're getting cockpits, to 1988, for people who want to skip ahead, take a look at Gunship, but not on any of the 16 bits. Take a look at it on the Commodore.
Oh, really?
Right? And that is,
I don't think I've seen it on the Commodore.
That's 5 years. I posted up a screenshot up on the Discord.
Which one are we talking
now
about? The 64?
64 version.
Oh my God, that looks so much better than the DOS version.
Right?
Oh my God.
And that is 5 years. And we have games now with literally 8-year development things, right? And it's like they don't look much different.
They don't
from games from the 2000s. Maybe the texture's a little higher, the global lighting's a little nicer, but yeah.
I mean,
that goes to your point. The changes in were amazing.
Like when I tell people how quickly things move back then, I'm like, first I'll show them Wing Commander from 1990,
right,
and then I'll show them Free Space 2 from 99. Like, this is the difference 9 years made back then. Like, that's why in the 90s we had like 4 or 5 different PCs, because we had to keep up, And in the 80s was the same thing, Yeah,
look at that code. Look at those Commodore screenshots too, man. Those are, you got wireframe, you've got an actual horizon, you've got, folks, do that. Go to Moby Games, search on Spitfire Ace, take a look at the 64 screenshot.
Yeah.
Then just type in Gunship and look.
And then look at the DOS screenshots, and then look at the DOS screenshots and
same
cry.
Computer a few years later, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing because I did a lot of platform jumps. In the 80s, I learned in high school on like the PET and the Apple II.
Mm-hmm.
My first computer was a VIC-20. Only had that for about a year, and then I got a C64 for graduation. So went from the 3K to the 64K machine. But then I had a Commodore 128. Then I had an Amiga 1000. And like all of that, and every one of those was like, got to buy all new software.
Right?
Because
and hardware,
completely new platform,
and hardware.
Yeah. I mean, that Atari joystick was compatible with everything, but that was it.
That was it. That was all you, and whatever you were using for a CRT.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
You could
even
the
CRT had to go when you got to the Amiga.
I had an A520, so I could actually. Although at first I bought a monitor, but then typical Commodore quality, it died a couple of years later. So I actually had a A520 and hooked it up to a TV. But by that time, I was moving on to PC anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, for me, it was I had much less in the 80s. I started with the Trash 80 in 83.
Yeah.
And then I got
which Trash 80?
The micro color computer, which was the one that was about the Micro Coco, which was as big as about a paper.
With the baby Coco.
Yeah. It was about as big as a hardcover book with a chiclet keyboard.
It's a computer though. It had BASIC.
It's a little baby computer. Yeah, it had BASIC, and it had a cassette. I got a cassette tape drive for it.
There you go.
But then I got a Tandy 1000EX in 86, and that changed everything. And then I got in 89, I got a PS2, an actual IBM PS2.
Yeah.
Which was a momentous.
I remember having arguments with some dude in my unit. I was an Amiga guy, and this was like 88 or 89, arguing back and forth between the beginning of the PC versus Amiga wars. I'm like, well, have fun with that EGA, and he's like, well, I have Sierra Quest for whatever. I'm like, oh, lucky you.
Yeah,
I've got cyanosis.
I was on bulletin boards hard back then, and that was a huge war. Was the Amiga's better, but we got more games, blah, but they look like crap, blah blah. blah.
Yeah. God, flame wars on BBS is. If there's any those simpler times.
The days. Oh man, but anyway, yeah. So wrapping up, I guess. Spitfire Ace, not Spitfire Ace, MIG Alley Ace. What an achievement. Ace, yeah. So there was one thing I wanted to touch on. We have kind of touched on them a bit, but I wanted to touch on kind of the manuals for these games and how just absolute garbage they were. Just absolute crap.
You want to know why?
Why?
There were no Macintoshes.
Wait, what?
Macintosh.
You had nothing to lay them out on.
Macintosh hadn't come out yet. You saw when Macintosh came out, that when the crappy manual went away.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean
PageMaker.
Typesetting back then was a nightmare. So you've got some. The manual's probably written by the friggin' programmer too. So it was like you were all a strung out programmer on caffeine or whatever, and you just type that shit up and you copy paste it. You did the cheapest kind of whatever, job you can. I think Origin was like one of the first companies that really started getting into producing like real manuals as opposed to just text dumps.
I never realized the actual Macintosh helped revitalize manual. I never. Wow.
Yeah. Well, if you go up to archive.org and look at Hellcat Ace, the manual for the Atari version's up there, and it's from the days Hellcat Ace. Very likely, I don't know if it came in a box or a baggie because it's literally from the era.
Hellcat, I'm pretty sure would come in a bag.
People would type up manuals. They would hand copy floppy disks to sell, and they would put these things in a big baggie and sell them 10 at a time to local computer stores. That was my first job in high school. That was working at a local computer store, Programs Unlimited in Jackson, Mississippi, and we had a wall full of games that were monochrome. If you were fancy, you used colored paper for your photocopies. Monochrome 4 to 8 page photocopied manuals and hand copied floppy disks.
Oh my God! I had no idea.
Then we went from that. I started that job in '82, and then by the time I got my first computer magazine job in '90. That was when MicroProse had gone from that photocopied 4-page manual to the height of it when you'd get this box and the box weighed 2 pounds.
Oh yes,
because there was a flight sim manual that had the history of aviation, a full-on air combat guide.
I'm gonna need some private time thinking about this after this podcast.
I mean, this is why I still own so many boxed copies of these flight sims because I love the manuals.
I've got a few. I had my purge. I purged a bunch of them, a few back there. There's a few I just couldn't get rid of.
Yeah.
Like I kept TAW 2.0 that had the little mini James. So you get
I still have those.
It was advanced then, but now I look back and I was like, wow, this is like the 90s. This was the new hot 90s plane.
I got rid of a lot of my boxes, but I still have all the manuals from back then. So TAW and EF2000 and and all those
MicroProse manuals.
Yeah, oh God, F19 is probably one of my favorite manuals of all time. Like I could read that manual cover to cover over and over, and I have. But these manuals, that's a good point. I won't ding them for that. Then I didn't realize
it was the Mac. Yeah, I mean, it was when the Mac transformed layout and printing.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. I remember. Not a flight sim, but a war game on the 8-bits, Carriers at War. And,
SSG. Yes.
Yeah, SSG, Carriers at War and Europe Ablaze. And I didn't know it back then, but looking at the big manual that they had printed out then, I was looking at the bog standard like the PageMaker template because they had just exported it straight out of their Mac machine for the manuals. But yeah, that's when you really saw the layouts and
I'm going to have to dig that up. I actually have Carriers at War Complete, which has that giant manual.
There is, they came out on the 8-bit. SSG did 8 bits first, which was amazing. I love, that's what really got me into wargaming, away from like all the arcade games is picking up SSG's Europe Ablaze and then Carriers at War.
I love it.
And just as an aside on Carriers at War, being a dumbass and a kid, I don't know how I did it, but I formatted my Carriers at War disc.
Oh no!
I sent the disc back to EA, whose address I got out of a magazine, and said, "Could I have a replacement disc?" Thinking that I would get one. Oh. And I got one.
Oh, wow.
3 months. They're like, normally this replacement costs blah, blah, blah. Send it to us at your convenience. How times have changed.
Wow.
EA would try to have sold me a friggin' microtransaction by now. But
and it was probably like Trip Hawkins' secretary.
Right. It's like this kid with a North Idaho unknown postcode. Send him a disc. But somebody, this was not their warehouse. This was like their Half Moon Bay corporate whatever that they had in the magazines, which means that somebody had to go to the warehouse and do this for me, which may have taken like half a day, and they did it. And it's just like, yeah. So just again, apropos of nothing, filling in time.
But, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's days, the back in the day, that's how it was.
And in the manuals, if you go up to archive and you look at the manuals, you see the evolution there too.
Yes,
because Hellcat Ace typewriter. Spitfire Ace, somebody had access to a typesetting machine because the headers are in a different font.
Yes.
There are images. There's a little catalog of all 4 games for the Commodore 64, including Floyd of the Jungle on the back of it.
I honestly love, can I just side bit? I love how MicroProse did that with all their games. Even in the games, they would have ads for their other games.
That is the only way that I knew about Spitfire Ace and Hellcat Ace back then was from my pirated copy of Silent Service. At the end of when I closed out Silent Service, it would show Hellcat Ace and Spitfire Ace. There's my introduction to MicroProse Sims.
And then you get the MiG Alley Ace, and you've got graphic illustrations.
Yes,
you've got a keyboard chart. You have like diagrams showing what the instruments do. There's a control stick image that shows which way to push it.
Yeah,
it's like you're not at the ones that make Chase shiver yet, but you're evolving toward those full on manuals. It's really fun to look at.
You definitely see the DNA. You definitely see the DNA.
And that was probably from direct feedback from kids like me, mailing them letters saying, "Wouldn't it be cool if?" Right?
Yep. Oh God, really? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never even thought of doing that back in the day. Wow.
Before we close out, I have to throw in, I threatened at the beginning of this before we recorded that I was going to do this.
Oh,
but we're talking trash about Sid here by like, okay, Sid, you did some amazing things, but then Andy perfected it. But after Andy did MiG Alley Ace, about the same time, Sid did a civilian flight sim called Solo Flight. You pull that one up on the 64, and there's 2 versions of it, so they must have patched it. But this thing has like full 8-color graphics. It has a working instrument panel. It's weirdly, even though you have the instrument panel, you're looking at your plane from the outside. But he's got multicolored.
Oh wow!
So the plane is shaded. My favorite thing though is there's 2 areas you can fly in: Washington State and Kansas. And the difference is that Washington State has little 4-color mountains in the background.
Look at that, though. I mean, that is high res high res graphics. As mentioned earlier, that people people that time were just doing, okay, so there's the Atari, where's the Commodores? Yeah, there's the Commodores. So he was doing, look at that.
And it had like a mail run mission where you had like land on top of a hill.
Yeah.
And oh God, my memory of this.
There's the shadow.
What it actually looks like now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're eventually we're totally going to play this at one point, folks. If you're unaware.
Oh my God, this is 1983.
I know.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
VOR and okay, I take back.
I paid $1983 for this. Actually, I was working at a computer store over the summer, so I got it at dealer cost.
Oh wow!
I probably paid like $1983 for it, and it has like 6 missions. But oh my God, I spent my whole summer playing this game.
I believe it. There's a version that's on Steam. If y'all are interested, it's the DOS version. I did try that a little bit because it came up on the other podcast. I was really impressed how good it felt. Like I was flying around, and I was like, for 84 or whatever. Like, wow.
I'm going to put this on the 64 definitely because this is
I am too.
This is advanced. I mean, if this is the same year, it's like amazing that compare and contrast their. Kids listening on the podcast here. This is, but again, it all boils down to who gives a crap because it's a civvy sim and you can't shoot people, so it's garbage by definition. So, you know what?
Very impressive for its day.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is not retro mail delivery podcast.
Right.
That'd be a very short podcast. Be one game.
This is two-fisted, somebody's got to die in this fight, Yeah, but I'm gonna take a look at that. That's a good call.
I'm definitely
glad you brought that up.
I'm definitely gonna find the 64 version of this because I want to try this. This looks amazing. Well, folks, I think did anyone have anything to say before we wrap up?
No, I got my solo flight plug-in, so I'm good.
I'm good. I got my Commodore 64 technical esoteric in, so I'm good.
I hope that's why people tune in because you guys are a treasure trove of that kind of knowledge. Like I do not have any of that knowledge. That's great that you guys are here.
Had a mini Coco, which is just adorbs.
It was. Yeah, I was 10. I was 10 when I got it, and I spent so much time programming basic games out of the magazine centerfolds that
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like is X greater than 5? Go to 50.
The game doesn't work. Oh crap! I gotta up. Oh, there.
It taught you how to debug.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. If you're unaware, we're talking about, folks, back then, computer game magazines came with a centerfold that was basically a basic game. And so you would spend 2 hours typing it out.
and 6 hours finding out that you put in a wrong number in one of the 500 data statements.
And then half an hour playing it. And that's it.
Exactly. It's like, this is boring.
Exactly. But folks, thank you for listening. Again, if you're new to us, we have a site at retrodogfight.com. We have a Discord that's linked there. Next month on the show, we're starting to get serious. We're starting to get serious with some OG MicroProse games. F-15 Strike Eagle, Gunship, and Project Stealth Fighter are going to be our next episode.
That's, we're probably going to have to stock up on drinkables and whatnot because it's going to be a monster episode.
That's going to be a big. I wasn't sure if one of these could do an episode by itself. That's why I grouped them up.
I would, not to involve the people out there in our logistics, but I'm wondering maybe if we could strip F-19 off there and put it in with F-117 because that is just.
Oh, no. It's not F-19. It's Project Stealth Fighter, which is the prequel to F-19.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yes. So it is. No, F-19 is definitely getting its own show down the road. No, this is Project Stealth Fighter that came out for the Commodore a year before F-19.
Is that the third person one?
No, it's first person. It's definitely, I believe it's first person. But yeah.
I'm thinking of F-117 Retaliator. Sorry. Okay.
Oh yes. No, that was that a Genesis game? Was that?
No, that's an Amiga game, and it was third person.
Oh, what?
There's no, it's not Retaliator. I think it was like F-117 Nighthawk. was the third person one, and then there was DI's. We'll get to it again. Sorry for the logistics.
No,
here, folks,
we'll get to it. We'll have to talk about that one. But yeah, so next month, we're starting to get really serious with some big names. Like, these are legends in the genre. And like I said, they're pretty rudimentary, so I wasn't sure we can get a whole episode out of one of them, but I think we can get a really good episode out of three of them. So that's what we're going to do next month. Thank you for listening, everyone. We're having a lot of fun doing this, if you can't tell, and we're just getting off the ground. If you haven't visited our Discord yet, it's also getting off the ground. It's turning into a really lovely community where people are talking about old Sims and sharing tips on how to get them running. Like, someone yesterday, as I record this, started a thread on M1 Tank Platoon 2, and we had a long discussion about getting that running. We are going to get to Tank Sims eventually.
That thing's a bear, but I run that in a pure emulation environment. I don't even try.
The Steam version now comes with boxed wine. Did you know that the Steam version comes with the wine?
Fixed it.
They did. Oh. It's got the interlaced video and everything. It's exciting. Nice.
I'm still going to run it on 86.
Yeah, box, of course. 86 box is amazing.
Do we sell merch?
Yes, we do.
But all I say is, people, don't do it for me or Denny. Just buy somebody out there listening to this. Just buy one T-shirt, and Brian will be.
I bought one T-shirt.
That's like your sister buying you a T-shirt.
I know.
One of you people out, if you bought a T-shirt or something, Brian, you couldn't calm him down. It would be awesome.
It'd be exciting.
We want to see it.
There's a link to
this. If a bunch of you buy T-shirts, and maybe Brian will make enough money to buy some for his co-hosts.
Oh, that'd be nice. But there is a store. It's on the About page of the website, retrodogfight.com. And I guess if there's enough interest at some point, maybe we'll start a Patreon if there's enough interest. I don't know if we're there yet. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to check your 6. We'll see you next month with some more MicroProse stuff. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sanitize left.